Why do we do community theater? Why are the arts so important to this community? Helen Keller once told us that the most beautiful things in the world are not to be seen or even touched, but felt through the heart. In 2013, we began the documentary, The JJ Project, and as soon as we began filming, we found out how important this story was not only to this community, but to members in this profession beyond the borders of Knox County. So why do we do community theater? Here are some of the reasons why, from their perspective. Enjoy the clips and enjoy the show.
Well, I think there's such a magic to almost being able to reach out and touch those performers on stage. I think it's very inclusive, and if you have great performers and great direction, you don't feel like you're just watching. You feel like you're part of what's happening, and you can't wait for the next song to be sung or the next scene to happen or the next words to come out of the character's mouth because you're so fully engaged in the storytelling.
You always want your audience to feel like they are a part of it. If they're not a part of that production, it just doesn't seem like it's magical, because that's the whole point of fairy tales. It's supposed to be magic, all about magic.
His particular physical situation, again, as I said earlier, became immaterial right away. And we saw a group of very talented, caring adults pulling their hair out, mentoring 11-year-old kids and younger into delivering a show.
And I thought it was a wonderful project, a great idea. And as an educator, I thought the idea of a community theater taking on a mentorship role with kids in all of the various major roles is a wonderful idea.
And certainly we at Theatrical Rights hope that this can become a model for other communities.
But it does come back to, during those 5 or 6 performances, you become almost your own little subculture. And those experiences that you share during those performances are lifetime experiences.
Getting to know new and more people that love theater and love God, and it was nice to find people like that, and I think that was my most fun moment.
I don't know if anyone in another industry perhaps has that same experience of the family that you create during that production time.
This is a model map that is struggling now, but it's going to recover and be stronger than ever through groups like MTV Arts, who know that this has to be a community-based effort.
With kids in a community that may not have a very strong program in the school, the community theater really can provide a huge learning opportunity for those kids. And probably for the adults as well, to learn from the kids.
And the demonstrated correlation between having that programming and the students performing higher in academics.
Anytime you do a show, you have to have a big production crew. And you can't just say, well, I want to go do a show, like you're Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney and saying, hey, let's do it out in the barn. No, you have to have, the theater has to be engaged, and you have to have lighting people and set people, and you have to production people. You have to have all of the stuff that it takes to put on a show. And that involves money. And that involves people saying, I'm going to invest in this because I think it's a worthwhile thing to have a production that families can go see.
The monetizing of community theater, monetizing, it's a word we learned from the internet age, which means finding money for the community theater is a labor of love for me. It used to be the best and worst part of my job when I was an artistic director, is to go out with your hand out to banks and insurance companies and people with deeper pockets. And if they weren't listening, I wasn't afraid to guilt them out and say, you can build prisons, or you can build theaters, or you can build them both. But I will tell you, a full theater will teach that community that there are healing messages in almost all good theater, because it's live human beings getting up in a ritual way and telling stories together.
To me, that's what is great about community theater.
Programs like the JJ Project, like MTV Arts, that can become the heartbeat of the community. Some places you go and there's not a theater town. They put up shows, they do it, and when you walk into a place like Mount Vernon and other cities across the world, you say, these people understand the healing value of the arts. It's why we should still do Shakespeare. And for forward-thinking corporations who have money, who fund this in their community, they understand that a community without arts support is a poor community in so many ways.
I think theater is just so important on so many levels. For instance, if you're a young person and you're discovering yourself and your talents, theater allows that freedom to do that very thing. And I know for myself in school, I was the music major and I didn't know what group of kids I fit into, but when I found theater, I knew I'd found all those kindred spirits. It's very important to feel that wonderful sense of camaraderie and the same love and thrill for theater.